former New Jersey governor, also former prosecutor, and our senior legal correspondent, Sunny Hostin, also former prosecutor. Sunny, let me begin with you. Dr. Blasey Ford now faces a big decision. There's not going to be an FBI investigation before Monday. Should she testify or not?
Well, I certainly think her story needs to be heard. I believe that she should testify, but only after an FBI investigation. What is shocking to me, actually, George, is that there is no protocol in place for something like this. No protocol in place when a Supreme Court nominee or any federal nominee has been accused of sexual assault or sexual harassment. This happened in 1991. There is a blueprint for this. When this Anita Hill situation happened, bottom line is, by bipartisan agreement, the FBI investigated. The FBI interviewed Anita Hill. They interviewed Clarence Thomas. They had sexual assault and harassment experts testify. Some of the same members that are on the committee today were on the committee then.
I think your analysis...
Why are they confused?
Your analysis is spot on. That is what happened in the past. But for whatever reason, and, you know, when you have the votes, you have the power. The FBI investigation isn't going to happen. So that, I go back to the question. Do you think in that situation, does Dr. Ford say yes or no?
I think absolutely. I think she has to say yes, because I think there is a need for public confidence in the Supreme Court nominee.
One of the things that they're looking at and that they're concerned about is, you know, the structure of the hearing, the rush nature of the hearing. If Dr. Ford asked for a few more days, asked for other expert witnesses to testify, would that be reasonable?
I don't think so, George. I think, you know, it's been 36 years. And we're talking about a much different situation than Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas for a few reasons. One, that was a much more recent event and much easier to investigate. Secondly, you had two adults
Just
that
because
were...
something's hard, it's not a reason not to do it.
No, George, but what are you going to get in the end of this, okay? This guy has gone through 6 background investigations in his career, including one that just happened 3 months ago. And none of this was ever revealed in these background investigations ever. What that tells you is there are not witnesses who are going to be able to talk about this one way or the other. And so what's an investigation going to really prove? In the end, what we need to hear is to hear from the professor. We need to hear from her. We need to hear her story. People need to judge her credibility, not only the senators that are sitting on that panel, the other senators in the entire body, and the American people need to judge her credibility against Judge Kavanaugh's credibility. And an investigation won't do anything that it hasn't done already. They did a full field background investigation, George, and you know how extensive that is, and he's gone through it 6 times in his career.
I think that's really intellectually dishonest, because we've both been through background checks when we were appointed, right, as federal prosecutors. And the bottom line is they need to reopen the background investigation. When you conduct a background investigation, some things don't come up. And when the FBI learns about things that haven't come up, they reopen up the investigation and they continue. That is the protocol. And the notion somehow that this happened 36 years ago, that it doesn't matter. Well, he was 17 years old. And the bottom line is...
I didn't say it doesn't matter. You said it doesn't matter. That I said it doesn't matter. I didn't say it doesn't matter.
What did you say?
I said it's more difficult to investigate something that happened allegedly 36 years ago. And when no witnesses have come forward, when they've done full backgrounds on him, starting as long ago as when he was first.
But they missed this.
Listen, they didn't miss it. She hasn't spoken to anybody about it, nor is there anybody who's come forward who said that they witnessed it or had ever heard about it. Now, you can't tell me that the FBI missed everybody.
Because the FBI hasn't investigated it yet.
You don't know who the FBI spoke to and who they didn't.
Well, they
you don't know whether or not they...
to Professor Ford.
No, you don't know that either. You don't know that Professor Ford didn't refuse to be spoken to. Up till this time, Professor Ford...
Oh, come on. There's no evidence of that.
George, we don't know that they didn't speak to her either. We don't know that they didn't ask any questions before.
I think it's pretty clear that they haven't spoken to her.
How do you know that? This is a woman who, up till 6 weeks ago, was demanding of Senator Feinstein and her own local congressperson that they keep her identity secret.
Just on that point, if she had been asked and refused, we would know that. They would tell us.
Of course we would.
Well, who would tell us, George?
The FBI would tell us. Republican senators would tell us. That news would get out if she had been interviewed.
George, it's not about being interviewed.
Or
it's
being
being asked. Well, I don't know that we would know that information.
I got to move on to something else before we go. President Trump yesterday continued this sort of unprecedented assault on his own attorney general. He gave this interview to the Hill magazine where he said, "I don't even have an attorney general." That led to an impromptu press conference on the White House lawn.
And what did you mean when you said you don't have an attorney general? What do you mean by that?
I'm disappointed in the attorney general for numerous reasons, but we have an attorney general. I'm disappointed in the attorney general for many reasons, and you understand that. We are looking at lots of different things.
Isn't the situation getting untenable?
Well, it's been untenable for a long time. I mean, it's been untenable for a long time, but it's untenable for a bunch of reasons. One, because of the president's feelings towards the attorney general, which are obvious, but also because we're in the midst of a very serious investigation that's being conducted by the Justice Department, and I don't think the president has an option to fire Jeff Sessions right now, because if he did, it would create a political and a legal firestorm that he wouldn't be able to endure. So it's the combination of those two things, George. Their inability to work together.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right, and so I think he's stuck until Bob Mueller is done. I think that the president is stuck with Jeff Sessions, and Jeff Sessions obviously wants to continue to be attorney general. So when you have those two things going on, this is what you see.
Crazy. Thank you both very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.